The Best 96.3, I'm Ana Alicia Anguiano with your news for today, January 18th, 2012. While U.S. citizens will head to the polls in this year's presidential election to be held in November, there is another election we should be concerned about as well, presidential elections in Mexico. A lot of issues will be at stake with the upcoming presidential elections in Mexico, calling attention to whether the trade, security, and energy policies of President Felipe Calderón's successor will affect illegal immigration, war on drug cartels, and the trade relationship between the United States and Mexico. According to the Federal Electoral Institute, an estimated 11.4 million Mexican nationals were living in the U.S. in 2010. Elizabeth Young, spokesperson for the Institute of Mexicans Abroad, stated Wednesday that the number of Mexican nationals living in Del Rio was well into the thousands. When asked how many of those were registered to vote in their country's elections, 0. The original deadline to register to vote for Mexico's elections was January 15th. Young says that deadline has now been extended to February in an effort to get more Mexican nationals to register to vote. Young went on to say that most of those believe it's easier to just bypass voter registration and just cross over and place their ballots in their homeland. But in all actuality, it's easier for them to just cast their vote on the U.S. side, because when Mexican nationals register here, they vote first. According to U.S. Census data analyzed by World City, $235 billion in trade took place between Texas and Mexico from January to September 2011. The future of those dollars now lies in the hands of those who can vote in our neighboring countries' elections. Aerial vaccine drops have now effectively eliminated 2 strains of rabies from Texas. 3 King airplanes packed with thousands of packets of rabies vaccines about the size of a ketchup packet took off from Del Rio International Airport Thursday, dropping the vaccine across Val Verde and South Texas. These drops taking out 2 strains of rabies that health officials say they were worried may threaten livestock and humans alike, according to State Health and Human Services. There are at least 2 outbreaks of rabies in coyotes and foxes in the southwest Texas region, a couple of human deaths from rabies, and according to officials, rabies seem to be spreading upward into North Texas, with some cases being reported as close as Sutton and Uvalde County. Local veterinarians say you can stop the spread of rabies by vaccinating your domestic animals. U.S. Border Patrol is aiming to stop the revolving door policy, which sends illegal immigrants who were caught crossing the border back into Mexico without any punishment. The consequence delivery system, a new national strategy to be announced within weeks, relies largely on instruments that have been introduced in the past 10 years and expanded. Number of agents since 2004 has increased to more than 21,000, with agents covering the border with fences, other physical barriers, high-tech equipment, and advances in fingerprint technology. These strategies will divide border crossers into 7 categories, ranging from first-time offenders to those with criminal records. Punishments will vary by region, but the commonality is that simply turning people around after taking their fingerprints and sending them on their way back to their homeland is a thing of the past. You can catch us every weekday with your up-to-date, up-to-the-minute news. Follow us on Twitter, KTDR-FM, or on our webpage, thebestktdr.com. With your radio news, I'm Ana Alicia Anguiano. This segment brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings of Del Rio. Great food, no bull.